Here we are. My bottom, this is your choice. I'm going to leave this up to you. My bottom leg is going to straighten, that's my left leg. My top leg is bending and coming to the floor. For some people, this might not feel so good in your sacroiliac or your sacroiliac joint. If that's you, you can either put a block under your knee or you can have your legs stacked. You might also find it different on one side than the other. And these are all good things to note, especially with low back stuff. We all have different rotations, different hip hikes, rib drops, all kinds of stuff in our body. And it's going to make side to side work feel different. And that's actually really important. We don't need to feel the same on both sides, but we're looking for the ways that we are different. So anyway, with that being said, if you don't have a roll, which I think everybody does, you don't have anything underneath you, you're going to really use your top hand to pull your bottom rib cage forward and toward your bottom hand. And then we're just going to open the other arm, the top arm, making circles around the head. Now, because your knee is on the floor, if it is on the floor, you're not going to open maybe as far as you're used to. That's okay. If you do have your knees stacked, you want to just try to keep those knees, the top knee down. So you restrict the movement in your thoracic. If you want, you can grab your weight or your block, whatever it is. You're just going to add that to the movement. Okay? If you don't have weight, a really nice way to add more resistance is just by doing that internally. So you create tension through the arm. I'm making a fist with my hand. Okay, so this is primarily addressing the thoracic spine and the shoulder, but we're working in rotation. Next time you open, you're gonna stay open. And here in this space, you kind of find the place where you feel maybe the most sense of opening across your armpit, your chest, your bicep. And you're going to roll. I'm going to turn my thumb out so you can see what my hand is doing. I'm rolling my thumb in and out. That means I'm doing that all the way from the arm bone. Okay. Then stay there. We're going to work for a few breaths with what's called PNF, or proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation, which is a really big term for something that means we're using our breath to kind of hack into our nervous system and allow ourselves a little more range of motion through working with the breath. So we're going to take a deep breath in for 4 counts. 3, 2, 1. Into the ribs, hold. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to do that 2 more times. So it's 4, 4, 7. Inhale, hold, exhale. Okay, here we go. Inhale for 4. Feel the ribs go wide as you inhale. And hold. 3, 2, 1. 7 count, exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. One more time on your own. Holding for the same amount of time that you inhale. And then a long, slow exhalation. And you may find over the course of those 3 cycles of breath that you've opened your chest a little more. You feel some more movement in your thoracic. Okay, we're going to slowly bring the top arm back around to the bottom arm. Bring your legs together if they were not already. And then come onto your back again. Let your arms open to the sides. Take a deep, expansive breath across your chest. So in this case, we're using the PNF stretch. Sometimes they're called PNF stretches. This is a PNF mobilization for the thoracic spine and the rib cage. So we're directly impacting how we breathe and also how our ribs rotate. And I say that in relationship to the pelvis, a lot of times we'll have the pelvis rotated one way and the ribs rotated the other way. And so what we're looking for is just finding where we might be able to feel where in our rib cage we rotate more easily. Even as we go to the next side, we might notice, oh, this side feels easier or this side feels harder. And by doing that, we start to inform ourselves for our bigger practice. How can we modify our practice so that we're really looking at the rotation, the hikes, all of the different imbalances in our body, so our practice serves us as a whole. Okay, so now we're going to go to the other side. So again, I'm going to take my top leg down toward the floor. And so just to reference my own body, for you to kind of hear about, so I know that this twist for me is more challenging, but it's actually the one that I need in my body more. I rotate the other way much more easily, but I don't need it as much. So this side is more challenging for me, and I tend to focus on this side a little more in my own practice. Just something to consider for yourself, okay? So now I'm gonna start with my hands together, and I'm facing away from the camera, but if you need to, you can just look at gallery view and you can see me from a different angle if you need to. So I'm going to take my arm around and behind me, and then overhead. And I'm doing that first without the extra weight. And just notice the differences between the two sides. You might notice already. Okay, now if you want to add the weight or you want to add some tension to the arm, go ahead and do that. So again, if you don't have anything to weigh your arm down, you can create more internal resistance simply by adding tension through the whole limb. So I'm starting by creating a fist with my hand and that tension sliding all the way up into my shoulder. I can even add tension through my abdominals and my back. Okay, the next time you open, stay open, pause, and you're going to rotate that arm internally and externally. So I like to find what I call the sweet spot, like right at the angle in that arc where I'm like, oh yeah, that's the angle where I feel like I'm really targeting the fibers along my pectorals or my bicep or whatever, wherever you feel that. So rotating internally, externally, one more time. And then you're going to stay there. Again, we're going to go into this PNF breath work. So you're going to inhale for 4 into your ribcage. So go as wide as you can in your ribs. Hold the width for 4 counts. And then exhale slowly for 7 counts. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take a breath into your belly, relax, and repeat. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold wide in the ribs. 3, 2, 1. Exhale 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. One more time on your own. Your inhale and your hold are the same length. And your exhale is about twice as long as your inhale. When you finish that side, go ahead and come back to your center. Breathe across your ribs on both sides, front, back, side to side. Okay, and then when you're ready, you'll go all the way over to your side and come on up to sit. Feel free to sit however you like, on whatever you like. Okay. I'm going to sit in Virasana. So the breath, one of the reasons I started with the rib cage is because of the breath. And I mentioned this rotation aspect that most of us have. We have some rotation that's different in our ribs than it is from our pelvis, and this can contribute to lower back stuff, hip stuff, all kinds of things. But the other reason is that breath is like our direct access into our nervous system. And one of the ways we can directly impact how we breathe is to work on the mechanics of the breath. So our diaphragm, our intercostals, getting those to function well and to be able to hold more space is great. So we're working on the mobility of this region, all while keeping these upper respiratory muscles in our neck and chest, upper chest, soft and quiet. So we're going to chant Om. I'm going to chant Om. You can listen if you like, or you can also chant at home. This quality of being virtual allows you to make that choice really anonymously, which is nice. So I'm going to chant 3 times. The reason, chanting is a part of yoga, but I'm choosing to chant today also because I'm working specifically with this idea of breath as path into nervous system through the vagus nerve. And then another way to activate the vagus nerve, if you don't know about the vagus nerve, definitely look it up. And I can send you links after class if you like. It is also activated by sound, by using our voice. That's why chanting can be so powerful. I'm not a big singer or a chanter, but I find it really fascinating. So if you'd like, join me. You can exhale your breath out completely. And then deep breath in. You can release your hands down. Okay. Now, we're going to take our knees we're going to kneel on the mat. So I will use a blanket initially just so you can see how I'm using it, and then I'm going to take that away. If you want, you could have a block or 2 near the front of your mat. Actually, I'm going to switch and face this way. I realize that I can look at my screen if I need to. Okay. All right. So, standing on your knees, we're going to work a little bit with hinging first. So we're going to tuck the toes under the heels, and to hinge, we're attempting to take any hint of the back bend out of this backwards motion. So I'm trying to keep the top of my head and my tailbone in a straight line, which means I need to use my glutes. I need to use my abdominals, okay? And basically all of my muscles along my trunk and my pelvis. So I'll start with my hands by my side. Turn everything on from your hips to your shoulders. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, go back as best you can in a straight line. And then you'll come back up. Okay, we're going to do that one more time. Keep yourself in a straight line as you go back. You'll feel your quads speaking to you probably. This last time, we're going to reach the arms around and up as we go back. You may find that you don't go back as far because as you reach your arms above you, you're adding load. So try that one more time. And then reach your arms to the side, pause. Reach them up above you, pause. You might find you want to back out a little bit, or maybe not. and then coming back up to stand on the shins. Bring your knees directly below you. Get long through the back of your body. You can allow your shoulders to lift toward your ears. Move your weight into your left shin. See if you can float your right leg and then step it forward into an Anjaneyasana. Take an inhale, and then as you exhale, you're going to twist and twist toward the right, toward your front leg, and then reach your arms front and back. Okay, so the left arm is reaching forward, right arm is reaching back. You've got your torso, your rib cage rather, rotating in opposition from your pelvis. Drop down through your tailbone. So you feel there's space in your lower back. If you'd like, you can stay here or you can tuck your back toes under and lift your back knee. Keep lifting the frontal hip point off the front thigh, dropping that right buttock down, right sitting bone, reaching to the right knee. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, take your left hand to the floor or use a block. I'll use a block just to show this. You're going to tap your back heel toward the floor and reach your right hand back. Maybe you catch your thigh, maybe you catch your shin. It doesn't really matter where you catch your leg, and you can keep your front knee bent or not, but you're pulling your rib cage around. So you're rotating, rotating, rotating. And then we're going to come back up either to the high lunge or to the knee to the floor. So that's going to be your choice. 2 more times through these shapes. I'm reaching through, touching back, pulling my rib cage around, and then back up to either my high lunge or tapping my back knee down. Okay, 1 more time. Reaching through, finding that leg, pulling the rib cage around, and then finding the opposite twist as I come up with my torso. Okay, set the block aside. Take a full breath in. Pause here just to kind of clear your pelvis. Pull your feet toward each other. And that's going to activate the muscles around the hips, but also into the pelvic floor and get the low back to release. Okay, you're going to turn your feet toward the right. Turn them toward the right and walk your right foot back a little bit here, and then reach your right arm to the ceiling. Take a full breath in, full breath out. Just step the right hand to the floor, right foot back. And your choice how you want to get to the floor. You can lower your knees to come to the floor, or you can move through chaturanga to come down to the floor. Okay, take your hands nice and wide, maybe even wider than your mat. Pull the floor backwards, pull the shoulders backwards. Root down to the shins, send the chest forward. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, I'm going to ask you to really drop your tailbone and pull the back ribs, and especially at the bottom, pull them back like you're doing a cat pose. And then coming back through, send your chest forward. Maybe this time you let your head lift as well. And then 1 more time, you're going to pull your back bottom ribs back. And then coming down to the floor, tuck your toes under. We're going up to plank, and that can be a modified plank on the knees, or it can be full plank with the knees up. So you choose. Lift your knees or keep them down. Lift your navel away from the floor. Lengthen your tailbone and turn on your glutes. It's basically the same feeling that you had when you were setting up for the hinge. Push down through your hands, inhale, right up to plank. And if you kept your knees up, lower them now and take a child's pose. Okay, take a deep breath in, deep breath out. I'm going to come back up to the knees. So I'm going to set my blanket aside. Please feel free to use it on your own. Okay, this time, I have my toes pointed back. It's going to make the hinge more difficult. You choose. If the last hinge was already quite enough, keep your toes tucked under. My hands at my sides. My glutes are turned on, my abdominals turn on. Everything from my hips to my shoulder feels like it's on. I lean back, everything in the same line. I come back up. This time I'm going to take the arms with me. I go out to the side first, pause. Up above, pause. Coming back up to center. Hook your thumbs, lift your shoulders toward your ears, let your back body rise. Weight into your right shin, float your left shin, and then step your left foot forward. Okay. From your navel, from your ribcage, from your lungs, turn to the left. And then keep that twisting as you reach your right arm forward and left arm back. Okay, and then from here, right hand is either going to go to, oh, sorry, we're going to tuck the back toes under, I almost forgot that. And your option is to lift the back knee or keep it down. Continue to rotate through that upper torso. You can use a block here if you'd like. I'm going to take my hand to the floor. Tap your back heel to the floor. Reach your left arm through and see if you can find that back leg and pull your rib cage around. And then we're going either back to the low lunge, the knee down, or the knee up, lifting the torso up, dropping down through especially that left side of the pelvis. Right hand to the floor, reach back, find your leg and turn. Back to the lunge. Feel the front sitting bone dropping and reaching forward toward the front knee. One more time. Finding the twist in one direction, finding the twist in the other direction, really lifting that left hip point up. Right palm to the floor, pause, left hand down, hug your feet strongly together here, just to activate around the hips, pelvis, pelvic floor, low belly. And then turn both of your feet toward the left. Reach your left arm up. Take a full inhalation and then step back to plank pose. Left hand down, right foot down. Deep breath in. As you exhale, lower to the floor. Okay. Hands can come in a little closer now. Inhale, cobra. Send the chest forward. Exhale, pull the back bottom ribs back. Feel like cat pose in from your tailbone to the base of the neck. And then come forward again. Inhale. Maybe your cobra lifts higher and your gaze lifts, shoulders away from your ears. One more time. Pull the kidney band back at the bottom base of the ribs. And then lowering down, tuck your toes. You can keep your knees down or lift them up, right up to plank. Push down, and then knees to the floor, press back to child's pose. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Once more, inhale, exhale. Okay, we're going to continue a little bit with this twisting mark, so just take a little interval here. I'm going to face the camera. You can face any way you like on your mat. So from kneeling, I'm going to take, I will be your mirror. I'm going to take my left elbow, you can use your right elbow, to the floor. So right forearm is down, my left hand is out to the side. Rotate yourself from the right to the left. And try to connect to the idea that your bones, your right arm bone connects into your rib cage through the collarbone. Your collarbone connects to the rib cage and to the spine. And then inside of that kind of cage quality, there is a lung. There are two lungs. Try to move your bottom right lung toward the left and move your top left lung back behind you. And then make a fist with your bottom hand, palm with your top hand, push down and rotate yourself from the right to the left. And then wag your tail from side to side. Laterally shift your pelvis to explore where is center. Can you feel what happens when your tailbone lands right in the center between your two heels. Can you sense that? And then take 3 or 4 more deep breaths. Try to breathe as wide and as far back into your ribs as you breathe to the front. Inhalation, and then exhale, releasing down. Just walk your hands out for a moment. Inhale, exhale, stretch the sides of your body long. And then we'll go to the second side. So take your left elbow down, right fingertips to the side. Press into the earth through your left elbow, up through the left upper arm bone, into the collarbone, into the rib cage, into the spine, and then through to the organs of the lungs. Rotate your left lung to the right and your right lung back behind you. And then make a fist with your left palm, open palm right hand, and turn yourself and then wag your tail from side to side. And see if you can find center between your heels. Notice things like, to one side, do both of your sitting bones connect back to your heels, or does one connect back more than the other? And then on the other side, it's different. Is it harder to find the tailbone in the midline on one side? Take 2 or 3 more deep breaths circumferentially, so the breath is widening front side back. Okay, releasing that. Walk your hands forward. Widen and lengthen your side body, your back body. Okay, take a downward facing dog. You can pedal through your feet. Let your head release, shrug your shoulders up and down. And then eventually find yourself in stillness. Okay, so go ahead and walk your feet or hop your feet forward to your hands. Lengthen your spine as you inhale, and then fold into your legs. Take any variation of a forward bend here. Let your head be nice and heavy, jaw, tongue relaxed. And then as you inhale, root your feet down, reach your arms around and up. Find the sky, find the heavens with your fingertips, your eyes, your heart, and the earth. Root down through your heels, your big toe and second and third and fourth and fifth toes, and your tailbone. And then release and find Tadasana. Okay, we're going to work with one more activity or exercise for the vagus nerve and for our breathing and stress levels in general. So we're going to work with Surya Namaskar. I'm going to teach it classically, like more like an Ashtanga variation, but please modify if you need to, okay? What I'm going to add in is a breath hold in down dog. And this breath hold is about carbon dioxide tolerance. And again, I'm not going to get deeply into this, but carbon dioxide tolerance is tied directly to our ability to handle stress. So our stress state is, our ability to handle stress is elevated as we learn how to tolerate higher levels of carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide has to be present in our body in order to efficiently transfer oxygen to our tissues. It's really interesting, a little bit counterintuitive because we think we need more oxygen in the body, but it's actually in order to deliver the oxygen coming into our body, we have to actually have carbon dioxide in the system. If we overbreathe, we lose that capacity. So we're going to work on holding our breath. It's not the most comfortable thing, I will warn you. So if you feel like it's too much today, then don't do it. But it's something also worth looking up. And I'm happy to also send out some links if people would like after class. So we're going to stand in Tadasana. We'll just take 3 cycles of Surya Namaskar. And when we get to down dog, I'm going to ask you to hold your breath as long as you're able. Okay, so here we go. Inhale, reach the arms around and up. Exhale, forward fold over your legs. Inhale, elongate your spine. You can step or jump to chaturanga, your choice. And modify as needed. Okay, upward facing dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Exhale all your breath out slowly. And then you're just going to hold the emptiness. Relax yourself as much as you can in that hold. When you feel the need to inhale, let it in. And then exhale and take another breath in. And then as you exhale this time, bend your knees, hop or step your feet forward to your hands, elongating your spine as you inhale and folding into your legs as you exhale. Rooting through your feet, inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale your hands down. Second round, inhale, reach the arms. Forward fold, exhale. Inhale, elongate spine. Exhale, step or jump back, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Exhale the breath out. And then hold as long as you can. And even past the point where you start to feel, oh, I need to breathe in. See if you can push it a little bit. And then when you need to inhale, take that. Take a recovery breath. And then on your next inhale, step or hop your feet forward. Folding into your legs. Inhale, stand. Look up, reach up. Exhale your hands down. One more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, elongate. Step or jump. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Deep breath in, exhale the breath out, and then hold the emptiness. Try to soften your skin, soften around the hold as much as you can. Try to push the hold a little longer than feels comfortable. And then when you really need to inhale, take it. Take a resting breath. And then coming, or a recovery breath, and then coming forward, step or jump. Elongate. Fold into your legs. Rooting down, stand up, lift up. Tadasana. Okay. Coming back to our twist, we're going to do it from standing. So we did this from child's pose. We're going to do it from Utkatasana. And some of you know, I think you've heard some of this instruction before, especially my Swiss and European students. So I'm standing with my feet sitting bone distance apart. I'm going to take my right hand and root my right thigh down. I'm going to reach my left arm long and then hook the left elbow onto the right thigh. You're going to stay there for a moment. Let your knee, your opposite knee, pass your the knee that you're hooking onto. And then keep making a fist with your palm, with your hand. Take your palm on top of that fist and rotate yourself around. Let the other knee go forward for right now. So what that's doing, it's letting the pelvis and the lower back move into the twist with the rest of the spine. Okay, now push the elbow down, turn your lungs around like we did in child's pose a moment ago. Try to move your top lung back behind you. Go wide and back into your rib cage with your breath. And then any amount, you're going to bring your eyes down, and any amount, pull the knee back. As long as it feels okay in your back, especially your lower back, pull the knee back. And you can even think that you're pulling the left foot back, or the foot that's opposite
of the way that you're twisting. And breathe. So you'll notice as you draw that knee back, it's going to change where the twist goes in your spine. There's no perfect space, but we're trying to find a space where we are evenly twisting through the spine and protecting our low back. Now, last thing, see if you can shift your tailbone from side to side. Can you feel and or look back to see that your tailbone is in fact between your heels? Okay, coming back up. That was a long hold, I know. Inhale, reach. Lift through the arms. You can hook your thumbs, go up, maybe take a little back bend, but keep your glutes turned on as you go up and back so you're supporting yourself from your low back. And then release your hands down. Pause, close your eyes, and feel. And just like with every other twist we've done today, notice one side is likely going to feel different from the other side. It's not that we're trying to get both sides to be the same, because that might not ever happen, but we use the feedback we get from our body, and especially if we start to really pay attention, like, oh, it's really easy for me to turn this way, not so easy for me to turn the other way. Maybe it's because I easily turn the way that I'm not already twisted in my rib cage, or it might be a different reason. But we can also start to really look at, are my hips turning? When I look down to see my toes, are my hips turning in a certain direction that's different from my toes pointing forward? Is my rib cage doing something else? These kinds of things start to help you decide how you twist, as well as what's actually most important is the feeling of how you twist. Second side, that was a little spiel to give you a break before we go to the other side. Left hand roots your left thigh down. Right arm reaches out and then crosses over the leg. Okay, let your right knee go forward, the opposite knee that you're hooked to. Then pushing through the elbow, take your top palm onto your bottom fist, and then see if you can find the rotation of your lungs turning from the bottom lung going toward the hands, the top lung falling back behind you. Okay? Once you find that rotation, bring your eyes down, then move your knee back in your mount as you feel how that changes where the twist goes in your spine. Pay attention. You don't want sharp pain, you don't want discomfort like that, but a sense that your spine is being moved in an even way. Then shift your hips from side to side and see if you can find your tailbone right in the center between your heels as you keep your twisting active in all directions. Breathe 3 times, wide and back into your ribs. And then inhale, come up, reach your arms up. Press through all corners of your feet and allow your hands to rest down at your sides. Just let your hips rock from side to side. Also notice, like, how does it feel for my hips to shift laterally to one side versus the other side? Is there a difference? Do my feet stay down on the floor as I shift, or does my big toe lift in the direction that I'm shifting to? Okay, we're going to address that now. All right. Take your hand towel, and you're going to, I'm going to take this close to the camera so you can see, but I'm just going to roll it up. So no more than about a finger's width. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, I am going to grab a chair to hold on to because this can get a little wobbly. You don't have to have anything, but it may feel harder to balance, just as a warning. I'm going to take that little finger width and put it directly under the knuckle of my big toe. So I'm going to set the towel there and go get my chair. Okay. You could have a table, you could have a chair, you could have 2 blocks, you could have 1 block, you could have nothing at all. but it's just under my big toe mound. And now what we're doing is we're gonna play with some standing poses. And actually, I'm gonna do my left foot first so you can see me. I can face the camera. So I'm gonna use my left foot. You can keep your right. I will just try to use front and back leg. So first, I'm going to work with a warrior three. I'm gonna play with warrior three. I'm gonna let my right toes tap back behind me. I've got my big toe lifted by the towel. And I'm going to bend my left knee with my back toes down first. Just let my left knee bend. I'm gonna let the knee go past the ankle. I'm gonna let it even go toward the midline a little bit if it does. It's not a big deal. What I want you to feel is that your small toe, root of the small toe is staying down. Okay? Now, next time you bend that knee, let your leg lift up. I'm just gonna shift my chair forward. Okay, and then you're going to bend and straighten a couple of times. You're going to bend and straighten. And I'm going to take my hands off the chair. I feel already. It's just more challenging to balance. I'm going to bend here, and I'm going to straighten a couple times. Use whatever support you need or nothing at all. Okay, and then I'm going to slide my chair to the side and step myself back. I'm going to find myself in a warrior two now. You can straighten your front leg if you need to. Okay, same thing. We're gonna go from warrior two to a straight leg. So we're just gonna go up and down a couple times. So as you bend, I'm gonna actually ask you to do this. You're gonna let your knee bend in, and I'm actually asking, unless it causes pain, let your knee come into the inner side of your foot, toward your big toe side. Something we've been told a lot in yoga not to do. Take the same arm as your bent knee and reach it toward your back leg. So it's going to encourage this leg to even move in a little further. And then you're going to open that, pull the legs toward each other, reach your arms wide, and go back in two more times. Bend the front knee, reach the arm back, let the knee fall in unless it causes pain. Okay, no pain. And then pull the feet together as you really straighten that front leg. Pull the feet together, open the arms wide. One more time. Bend your front knee, let your arm reach towards your back leg. And then pull your legs together. Straighten through the front leg. Pull, 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 arms wide. And then keep that as you reach forward, 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 and down. I'm going to rest my hand on my leg. You could grab a block. We won't be here for too long. Keep pulling your legs together. Keep trying to straighten through that right leg and lift the kneecap up toward the pelvis. One more full breath in, and then exhale. You can bend your right knee, take your front knee, take your fingertips to the floor and forward fold. Take your roll out. Okay, coming up, we're just gonna try that shifting of the hips from side to side. Maybe you didn't notice anything, but maybe you did. That as you shifted your hips to one side, one of your big toes lifted. And maybe it was the side that we just worked on with the towel. And just notice if anything has changed in the experience of the shift, or just in the feeling of how your feet, the pressures of your feet, or the soles of your feet meet the earth. Okay? I'm going to explain a little bit more about this in a moment, but let's do the second side. Okay, so under the big toe mound with that little finger height, no more than finger height lift. Okay, again, I'm going to use my chair. You can feel free to use whatever you like. My toes tap back behind me. I'm going to keep my toes down first and let my knee bend, let the knee go past the ankle, even in a little bit toward the midline, and then I straighten. And then I'm going to do that one more time. And then I'm going to come into my warrior three. And I straighten my right leg, let my chair go forward. I'm supporting myself here. And then I'm going to bend my knee in my warrior three. I can let my knee drop in a little bit, and I'm going to straighten. I'm going to play with balancing here, bending my knee, and straightening. One more time. and straightening. And then you're going to step back and slide the chair aside for visual purposes. Okay, and in a warrior two, you can straighten your front leg for a moment. And then again, as I go to my warrior two, I'm going to let my knee bend, and then even going to let it come in toward the midline a little bit as I reach my front arm toward my back leg. And then I'm going to open, pull my feet together, straighten through both legs, lift my kneecap up, lift my thigh up into my pelvis, and then re-bend. Reach the front arm toward the back leg. And again, hold the legs together. Straighten through that front leg. Okay, one more time. Reaching back. Let the knee, don't have to control it over the second and third toe, like you may have heard many times. I'm just asking you to do something a little different. Pull your legs together a lot, straighten through the front leg, and then keep that pulling up and into the pelvis as you reach forward, and then down. Maybe not your deepest trikonasana, whatever that means. And then inhale, and as you exhale, bend your right knee, take your fingertips to the floor, set the towel aside. Take your feet as wide as your mat. Forward fold. Feel free to let your body kind of shake a little bit or sway and rock from side to side. Take a few breaths there. Okay. So, just to explain a little bit about the towel. This is coming from a system called Anatomy in Motion by Gary Ward, and it's something that I started learning last September or October, and I've fallen in love with the system, and I think it's really smart, it's really, really complex, but it all starts with the foundation of a tripod in the foot. And it's based in how we walk, but it can translate to many other movements. So by lifting that big toe mound, we were encouraging the whole foot to stay rooted on 3 points of contact. My big toe mound, my small toe mound, and my heel. And we didn't do the second side to see about the shift. So if you want, you can stand up. I'm just going to shift my hips from side to side and notice if my feet have changed, if the feeling in my hips and my spine have changed, my pelvis, all because I gave my foot a chance to have a full tripod down throughout that standing pose sequence. Feel free to write and ask me questions, or I can stay online after class to talk a little bit if you like. Okay, fine. I'm going to move to just a couple seated poses. I'm going to start on my hands and knees. I'm taking a pigeon. I'm taking a really active one because it definitely starts my body better. I'm very mobile as a human, so I need more activation. If you know for yourself that you like to be kind of sleepy in your pigeon and that works for you, you don't have pain in your back or hip, you can do that. I'm going to take my left knee to my left wrist, even beyond it a little bit, and I'm pressing my knees down. I'm going to use my blocks here. You can have your fingertips on the floor. Pull my knees together strongly so I'm staying really lifted. And I have to use my muscles while I'm taking my hip towards end range. Okay, you can stay here and breathe. You can hold your elbows above you. Okay. Maybe 3 or 4 more breaths. I'm really drawing my knees strongly together. If you like to take a forward fold here, by all means. And then in your next exhalation, you'll sit over to your left hip and you'll open the right leg out. So I'm in like an open Janu Shirshasana. We're going to take it twisting, Parvrita Janu Shirshasana. I'm going to use a block. Again, I can hold my foot, but it actually, I notice when I go to my full end range and I'm not able to create some strength around that end range, I feel it in my body later and not in a good way. So you can experiment. I'm going to go really active here. I keep this extended leg bent, my right elbow to the block, my left arm overhead. I'm going to hold my head rather than my foot, but you might hold your foot. And then rotating again, I'm rotating my rib cage from the bottom lung to the top in the front, and the top lung to the bottom in the back. And I'm pushing my elbow and my knee together. I'm pushing my right heel to the floor. I'm pushing my sitting bones into the floor. So it's a really active variation. And I'm going to come up. Okay. And I can open my other leg. I'm going to bend this knee and just take the other side. So I just switch my legs. I'm going to face the other side of the mat, take my pigeon. I can take my blocks along if I want. I'll just be on my fingertips on this side. I'm pulling my knees together strongly. Hands can stay on the floor, or hands to the hips, or arms overhead. I'm imagining that I could literally pick myself up out of my pelvis. That's how much I'm lifting my upper body out of my hips and pushing my knees into the floor. Take another inhalation, and then as you exhale, you can lower down toward your right sitting bone. Keep your right knee bent and then open. And then you can take your elbow to block, to floor, whatever you like. I'm bending my extended leg. I'm going to hold my hand behind my head. I'm pushing through my left heel, both sitting bones. I'm staying nice and wide in my back ribs and not collapsing there. I'm rotating my lungs around the central axis of my spine, pushing my elbow and knee together strongly. And I'm not going anywhere as deep as I could in terms of range of motion. But this is totally an individual choice, and it's different for everybody. And then slowly release that. And okay, you can take any forward fold that you like. That could be seated, symmetrical, Baddha Konasana, Paschimottanasana, Upavishta Konasana, legs wide, whatever you might like to do seated. Or I'm going to do like a happy baby on my back. I like to finish on my back with a forward bend because my spine is stabilized by the floor, and I can really play with the curve of my lumbar spine here. So I'm just holding my knees and letting my pelvis rock forward and back. So that's giving me a clear idea of what's happening in my lumbar spine. And I'm just going to try to keep that lumbar integrity as I bring my legs in. Again, I can go much further into the happy baby, but I'm choosing to stay out of my end range. And in fact, pushing my legs up into my hands and pulling my hands down to my legs just to create some work around the hips and the sacrum. And then I'm coming back to these nice deep breaths that we have been working on building through the very first mobilization we did over the blanket. And then when you're ready, you're just going to release yourself into Shavasana. If there's anything else you feel like you need, we're going to take about 5 minutes here. So if you want to take a minute to do one more thing, that's okay. But see if you can give yourself a good time to relax in this very short hour we have for practice. And if you need to go before I take us out of Shavasana, I understand. And it was lovely to have you. Let each exhale slip out slowly through the nostrils. Let every inhale inflate and support your inner structure softly as it presses out into your skin from the inside, into your bones from the inside, into your organs from the inside. Let your attention arrive into your physical body. Feel free to move or stretch in any way that your body may be asking for, to deepen your breath and explore how your breath touches the inner surfaces of your body. And as you feel ready, you're going to roll to your side and make your way up to your seat. Feel free to take any comfortable seated position. So I will close again with the sound of Om, Ah, U, And there's this sort of guttural sound and then silence. And each part of the syllable is said to have some really vital meaning, but I think also that the silence, which is actually a part of the syllable, is perhaps one of the more profound pieces of it. And I think that we're sort of living in the silence of the Om right now. Everything has stopped and quieted down, and we're being forced to really listen. And so whether you chant with me or not, take a moment to hear what it feels like after the sound drops out. What is that space about? You can take any comfortable position with your hands, any mudra that resonates for you. Exhale the breath fully out. Inhale deeply. So I'm going to stop the recording on the phone that I have. I'm going to switch over to my laptop. If anybody wants to ask questions, I will stick around for a few minutes and talk and chat. I'm happy to do that. I wish you a wonderful day if you need to go, and thank you so much for joining, and hope to see you again soon.